Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video, we're doing an ombre acrylic nail with a gel polish painted tip. This was fully a recreation of a design I see by Sarah's Nail Secrets. I absolutely love her work and I see this design and it made me realize I haven't done too many acrylic designs with gel polish on top, so I decided I would give this one a go. Her set was a gold and pink ombre with a baby pink tip, but I went for this kind of autumnal purple color just because I wanted to keep the content on my channel a little autumn. But I will link Sarah's Nail Secrets Instagram and YouTube channel in the description box below, but I'm sure you guys already know her. So jumping into the design, I have already applied my tip and a thin clear acrylic base, and then I'm coming in with this beautiful gold glitter. This is Champagne Spritz from Smileys glitter store, and I'm just picking this up with small beads of clear acrylic, kind of swirling that glitter into the clear acrylic so it all mixes down, and then I'm just popping it down on as a thin layer on to the tip of the nail and then blending it back into that clear base, just fading it back so there's not a harsh line where our glitter ends. And as you can see, it is super sparkly. It kind of, my light reflected a little bit too much off of it, so it's a little tricky to see. I did allow that glitter to fully set in place, and then I'm coming in with a CJP Obsession. Now I started off by applying a really thin, wet, small bead of this down on the nail because I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to use this colour or Fantasy from CJP. So I kind of just put a small bead down just to see what I thought of this colour with the glitter. And then because I liked it, I decided I would stick with it. So in a minute, I will come in and build up that nail bed area and create the fade a little bit more. Here I was just playing around testing out, but just because I couldn't decide which core color to use. So then I'm going to pick up a larger size bead of Obsession. This is one of my favorite core colors from CJP. This one and Fantasy are my absolute go-tos. So as you can see, I've picked up a larger bead. I'm pushing that up towards the cuticle area, getting a nice neat cuticle with it. And then I'm going to pull the sides of the bead of acrylic down first of all, leaving a lot of that product in the back third and the center of the nail to start creating our apex area. I'm not going to fully encapsulate this now, so I'm not going to really encapsulate where I'm popping down this core color. So I'm making sure to build up my apex with this color, and I haven't sped this video up too much. I've only sped it up a little bit so you can kind of see a little bit more of how I work with the acrylic. So I'm using quite light strokes to blend that down over the glitter. Now when it comes to doing a glitter fade, you can do them two ways. You can do them where the glitter is underneath the acrylic, and you can also do them where the glitter is on top of the acrylic. On this particular design, I decided to do it with the glitter underneath the acrylic. I can't fully remember if this was the same as Sarah's design, but I really love how glitter looks hidden under the Obsession core color from CJP, because Obsession is ever so slightly on the sheer side. So it's a really beautiful acrylic to get that hidden glitter fade effect with. So once I had finished applying my Obsession and I blended that bead out and I was happy with how it blended, I'm going to come in and encapsulate with my CJP Crystal Glass. So I'm picking up, this was more a medium to large size bead of acrylic, but I'd picked this up a little bit too wet, and where it is also cold now, the acrylic is a little bit more runny than usual. So I'm having to kind of chase the bead down the nails. This wasn't the best encapsulation, but I basically popped it down where the Obsession ended. So it does blend slightly over that bead of Obsession, and then I'm just walking this down the tip of the nail, trying to keep a nice neat sidewalls, just making sure that I'm encapsulating in all of that glitter and that fade ombre effect that we've created as well. So I'm just pulling off any of that acrylic that kind of run over the sidewalls, and then I'm just making sure that the strength and structure is running down the spine of the nail. So I'm keeping a lot of that product running down the center of the nail, and because the application of the clear didn't go as smoothly as possible, I do come in with another small bead of clear acrylic at the tip of the nail, just because that was on the thin side. Here I'm kind of just blending that in to the Obsession, just so there's not going to be a ridge where the clear meets the Obsession. And I did also have a few glitter spots that I wanted to pick out as well. And also at this point, this is where I'm kind of checking the nail from all angles, making sure that I'm happy with my apex and just checking the thickness of the nail overall. And this is where I noticed I needed a little bit more product down at that tip area of the nail. So I'm placing this right down at the tip of the nail because that's where I want most of this product to go. And then I'm just blending the rest of it back into the previous bead of a clear, neatening up my sidewalls. Then I did allow this to fully set before I come in and file. So I'm taking my Kiki London 100/180 grit file and I'm starting off with the 100 grit side and I'm basically just neatening up the shape a little bit at this point. And then I'm going to come in and contour and refine the nail. So I'm going to smooth out any unevenness, get rid of any bulkiness and basically just refine that acrylic application. I try to apply my acrylic as neat as possible so I haven't got too much finished filing to do. But what I like to do is come up one side of the nail, go around that cuticle area and around the apex area, and then just come up the other side of the nail. And then I'll kind of just go over the whole entire nail until I'm happy that everything's nice and smooth. I'm always checking the nail from all angles to check to see if there are any areas that are a little bit uneven, if there's any areas where the acrylic looks a little bit bumpy, and then I will focus on those areas a little bit more. This is a little bit tricky to do when you are working on a practice hand. I don't usually leave in filing on the practice hands because you do see that the tip tends to move and slide around, so it's a little bit tricky. A lot of the time, especially if I'm working on my Glamerliz rather than the flexi hand that I'm working on today, I will take my tips out and file them out of the hand and then slide them back in for the shaping, just because I find that a lot easier. Once I have finished refining and contouring the nail, I like to switch to the 180 grit side of the file to shape with. So I'll shape the very tip of the nail just by going up and down, and then I'll come in and go over the sidewalls. And then I do sometimes like to come over the surface of the nail with the 180 grit side as well, just to smooth everything out. I kind of do a lot of backwards and forwards with my file just because I like to try and get the shape as perfect as possible. Then once I have finished all of the filing, I do like to switch to my buffer and give the nail a quick buff. So what I like to do this is because the file leaves lots of harsh scratches in the nail. So I just like to smooth some of them out. So again, taking my Kiki London buffer, this again is a 100 and 180 grit side. So I take the 100 grit side first of all, just give it a quick whiz over the nail, and then I flick to the 180 grit side and go over the top with that. And then you need to give the nail a really good clean to make sure you get rid of all the dust. So I do this with a dry brush and then I will go over it with an alcohol wipe as well. Now that all of the dust is removed, we're going to move on to painting on the gel polish tip. So I'm going to take this gorgeous colour from Kiki London. This one is called Wine With Me, and it's kind of like a really rich burgundy kind of purple shade, but it is a little bit sheer. It kind of has a bit of a jelly-like consistency to it. So I thought it was really pretty for this design because I wanted you to still be able to see the glitter a little bit through the gel polish, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit different to how Sarah did her design because she used quite an opaque pink finish gel polish, and that was originally, I was going to go for quite an opaque purple shade, but then I remembered this color in my collection and I haven't used it too often, so I went for this one and I'm really glad I did because I loved how this color looked against that champagne spritz glitter. So I went for a V-shaped French tipped because I really loved how Sarah did that in her design. So I'm just taking my Kiki London stripe liner brush and painting on a simple V-shape French. I decided to do all of it with my stripe liner brush. A lot of the time I'll do the lines with my stripe liner brush and then switch to the bottle brush because I find you get a bit better coverage with your bottle brush rather than a smaller nail art brush. But I was being a bit lazy here and ended up just doing the whole tip with my stripe liner brush. As you see there, I did come in and clean it up a little bit with my round nail art brush and a little bit of alcohol. In all honesty, my hand painting game was not strong today. For such a simple French tip, I kind of struggled to get a nice neat straight line. I don't know what was going on. So I just took my round nail art brush and a little bit of alcohol just to clean it up, and then I come back in with my stripe liner brush and my gel polish just to perfect that. I'm trying to get it as even and as consistent so both sides look the same. I then cured that first coat for 30 seconds, and then we're going to come in and do that second coat of gel polish. Here as well, you will see that I kind of sort out the fact that one side was a little bit lower than the other side with the where the smile line goes down the edges, if that makes sense. So again, I'm using a combination of my stripe liner brush and my gel polish and my round nail art brush with a little bit of alcohol on it, just to try and get a nice, neat, consistent French tip or V-tip, whichever you prefer to call it. But I still love that even though we're adding in the second coat of colour, you can kind of ever so slightly still see that glitter through the gel polish, and I really, really loved that effect that it gave off. A lot of the Kiki London colours have a more creamier consistency, so they're usually a lot more opaque, but I love this one for this effect because it kind of just reminds me of jelly gel polish. It doesn't give off this effect as much, I find, when I'm working with it over natural nails. I think the glitter just shining through it helped, but I thought it looked really, really cool. So once I've done the second coat of that, I'm going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to come in with my Kiki London No Wipe top coat just to fully top coat that nail. And then this brings that glitter back to life as well and brings back the shininess of the core colour as well as sealing in the gel polish tip. So once I've finished applying my top coat, I'm going to pop this in to cure for a final 30 seconds. And that, guys, is the end of the design. Really, really loved doing this, and I definitely want to try and do a few more acrylic design sets with gel polish nail art on top. So let me know if you have any suggestions in the comments below. I did also ask over on my Instagram tonight as well if you guys want to start seeing Christmas content, because I am really feeling the Christmas vibe, but I just don't know if it's a little bit too early. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I really loved how this design turned out. I will leave all the products in the description box below, so do check that out as well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you did. Thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.